So I'm gonna start speaking in a linear fashion because what is happening with my individual awakening and being that I'm waking up to multi-dimensional experiences, which is leading to realization of non-physicality of life, of reality, is a wake up, you know, um, and just everything with being in part of being a my lab, it being in the secret space program, understanding all of that, how that's possible, being in the TIRAP program, which is the Targeted Individual Research Advanced Program, which I had never even heard of the term TIRAP until I, met with Peter, the insider from the ACIO. And, the targeted individual phenomenon is obviously experienced by millions of people worldwide. And people don't, they are experiencing the harassment, the symptoms, the gang stalking, the directed energy weapons, the surveillance, all of that, and they're wondering why are they chosen for this? Why are they targeted for this? And it is because of psychic ability and the ability to have a connection with the mental, spiritual realm, which is another dimension. And that has to do with interdimensional travel and timeline, other timelines, and this is where you take the red pill. You travel the path of Neo in the Matrix, and you see how deep the rabbit hole goes, because what I'm focusing on today, talking about, is TIRAP. And for all the targeted individuals out there that are going through this, trying to understand what's going on, there's so much to it that for me personally, I understand it's part of being in the secret space program and having 20 and backs done on you, because when you are doing that, and they're taking you for 20 years, and then 20 years is passing, and then you're being returned back, and your memories are wiped, and your age regressed, and then you're put into your timeline like nothing happened, but actually definitely something happened. And then you don't fit in anymore with the timeline, and that's what I'm personally recognizing is and today is really a day where I do not feel like I belong in this timeline, and it's because I don't, because I've been taken out of this timeline and into the future, into the secret space program timeline, and then used as a super soldier in my consciousness, put in avatars, sent into the past, into other places, and so my consciousness is just fully remembering all of this. And so, I just have been working on disclosing all of this over the years, and getting people ready for this. So, because this is part of disclosure, disclosing the TIRAP program is going to be part of the disclosure. And it is, shadow agencies are involved with it, DARPA and the NSA, CIA, FBI, all have their parts in it. CIA are kidnapping children. FBI are doing surveillance and gang stalking and stuff like that. NSA is monitoring through satellites and other advanced technology. DARPA is doing it neuro monitoring and all sorts of stuff with dreams, and it's just the black ops for real, and not like people, not like stolen valor people saying they were in black ops, because being part of black ops, it's the hardest thing to talk about all this, because it's not talked about and it's not known about, and it's part of the special access programs, which are compartmentalized, and one part of the hand doesn't know what the other is doing. But if you're the subject and you're the target and you're the asset, and the memories are coming back and everything, and they don't want you that's the one thing that they didn't want, is for you to remember this, because secrecy is their greatest cover. And I know the cat's out of the bag now. Everybody's talking about everything, Mandela effects, seeing everything in the sky, UFOs, all the elite going down deep state, all the just all the temporal warfare going on, like reality is not what the fake reality that they're showing to everybody, to keep perceptual control. And obviously, I'm definitely feeling, the Matrix, is like the progress. There are still some programs running itself, but man, it's just it's getting really close. It's getting really close. Oh man, it's getting so close. So I talked about how TIRAP, you street lamps flickered as you pass. Strangers begin echoing thoughts when even your dreams are no longer private. So street lamps, I've had that happen all the time. Walking by street lamps, they're turning on and off, wondering what's going on. It's obviously because of my vibrational frequency, how I'm psychic, how I've been taken out of this timeline, in and out, and I'm not from this time. Like, I am from this time, but I've been in another time. And then operated there, and then returned back into this time. So, strangers begin echoing your thoughts. You part of gang stalking, and you get gang stalked. Everybody reports, people, street theater, people talking about things that only that they would know about, out there in the street. So this is part of the gang stalking and the operation of TIRAP, which is a compartmentalized shadow agency operation of the organization, which is the 1%, the 0.1% of the elite. So even your dreams are no longer private. So they can infiltrate dreams, and they do all the time. Like, especially like when I'm talking too much, when they're hitting me with directed energy weapons, they're doing street theater and stuff, because people will in cars like go past me and they'll yell like 33, 33 out the window, and that number is significant to Freemasons, and that's part of the program, and the gang stalking, and then everybody in my family's targeted. The dreams, they come in on my dreams and they'll literally like do what they have to do to scare the shit out of me to stop disclosing, which obviously that hasn't worked. And if they, I guess it would be a problem if they just straight up killed me, because I guess they would have done it. Like that would be a detriment to the timeline, I think. So basically, yeah, when you're a targeted individual, you're a lab rat. You're the antenna, and you're on the battlefield of the hidden war, which is all invisible. Has to do with psychotronic weaponry, surveillance, covert surveillance, all that, and it's made to break you, and it's made to test you and see how psychologically, how much you can take. And it is the spiritual war, because they're trying to, it's actually, they're trying to disconnect you from the source, so actually you connect even more to it and become more powerful. And then they study you to see what you're doing. So the selection. There are no formal record that announce that you've been chosen. There's no recruiter, no induction ceremony, and no oath. And so the selection process is done through AI-based pattern recognition, machine learning surveillance systems, and looking for anomalies. And, being an anomaly to the system, being super spiritual, being someone that can't be programmed is like what targets you for selection. And then you're like how prone you are to being able to resist targets you for a selection too. And it's just what kind of anomalies are high cognitive complexity with emotional sensitivity, so you can think and feel. And so disruption potential to the dominant cultural paradigm. So cultural paradigm right now would be like the Abrahamic, democratic, monarchic, free market Zionistic paradigm, which I have woken up out of that and see right through it all. And so that makes me even more of a target. Resistance to gaslighting and propaganda. So all the gaslighting they do, that they do to people, V2K and stuff, propaganda that's out there to control you. If you can't be underneath control, that targets you even more. Quantum resonance variability. Your soul signature emits frequency deviations incompatible with mass mind control overlays. So your frequency is you're vibrating obviously on a higher level that can cause a ripple in the timeline. And in other words, you are dangerous, not because you pose a violent threat, but because you might wake others up. TIRAP doesn't just want to study you, it wants to contain you, and if possible, convert you. So the conversion begins with confusion. And, contain you. Wants to keep you from speaking out, you know, you know, everybody around you is like controlled, and speaking on this level, unless someone is ready to hear it, they're not gonna hear it. So phase one is psychological disorientation. Yeah, at first it seems like paranoia, a coincidence here, a strange behavior there, but soon it escalates. You notice people responding to thoughts you haven't spoken aloud. Your phone acts independently. Music lyrics mirror your internal struggles. Cameras seem to follow you even when they're turned off. The algorithms that once served convenience now read like surveillance diaries. So, welcome to the cognitive dissonance vortex. You begin questioning your own sanity, which is exactly what the system wants. TIRAP is designated to destabilize your ontological foundation, to make you doubt not only what is happening to you, but whether anything is real at all. Why? Because once your reality grid is weakened, it becomes easier to inject new software, new beliefs, false narratives, obedience scripts. The gaslight is not a glitch, it's a mechanism. So, it's psychological disorientation, paranoid. You get people following you around and stuff, black cars. You see the loops that they go in, and at first you're paranoid. You're like, am I seeing things? Are cars following me? The coincidences of people saying things that you're thinking, music lyrics, things playing in music that are mirroring your thoughts. And so that's all part of the psychological disorientation. And this stuff is the stuff that I really don't like to talk about, but I have to talk about it anyways, because everybody is going through it. So phase two is isolation protocols. As your confusion grows, relationships begin to fracture. People in your life, family, friends, co-workers begin acting differently. Some dismiss your concerns, some mock you, and others disappear altogether. So, your whole world changes because you're waking up to this. People in your life are part of it and stuff, because they can get controlled by the mind control and what's part of it, and they'll dismiss your concerns, mock you, you're crazy and stuff like that, send you to psychiatric wards. But it's because you're waking up to being part of the TIRAP program. So TIRAP operates through infiltrated networks. Behavioral manipulation programs can prompt others to act through suggestive algorithms, neurolinguistic cues, or outright bribes. If someone in your circle is mentally weak or desperate, they are susceptible to handlers, often unaware of their own role in the program. So the result is isolation, not only social but existential. You are being groomed for total dependency on the system itself. So, behavioral manipulation, it's made to just keep you dependent on the system. And then there's direct interference. So there's voice to skull technology, which is synthetic telepathy. It literally beams voices into your head. There's dream manipulation. They come in through your dreams and mess with your dreams, like Inception. And behavioral nudging. So you begin to live in a hyper reality, a world that looks normal but feels scripted, like Truman Show. Every interaction carries an undertone of orchestration. Every object, word, or gesture begins to feel like a message and a code you're being forced to decode. This is not psychosis, it's informational subjugation via neurosemantic warfare. So, when I'm get hit with the frequency weapons, it does mess with my frequency. It's made to keep you at a level of certain frequency, and when it's hurting you, it's keeping you at a lower frequency. But I've been, fighting the war with keeping my vibrational frequency high, knowing the propaganda, knowing what's going on around me through the surveillance. And so I'm awake to all that. So phase 4, the awakening within the trap. Then comes the worst part. You start to understand. You realize you're in a program. You begin researching others like you and discover the term targeted individual. You find forums, stories, videos. But even this awakening is anticipated. TIRAP has multiple contingency layers. So, even it knows you're going to awaken. The system doesn't fear your awareness, it fears your discernment. Discernment is the superpower of the awakened. It allows you to see through illusion, even the ones dressed as truth. And then here's your first real choice. Collapse inward, accepting the narrative of madness or helplessness, or ascend into resistance, decoding the matrix, and transforming trauma into power. So that's what I'm doing, and some days are hard, like today, because I just can't believe this is all going on, and I just want it to be revealed, so we can have the technologies that are kept from us to heal us, to heal our consciousness, and which will heal our bodies. So and that's how they are able to keep us, is by all the propaganda, of what you call reality, which is all fake. And we're obviously in the Great Awakening now, so every day it's getting more and more, and I'm ready for this to be over. So that's all I'm going to talk about today, because TIRAP's secret is not just control, it's transformation. It is made to control this whole thing, but if people are able to survive it and become sovereign instead of a victim, they'll be liberated and transformed. So alright, that's it. Until next time.